Good afternoon, I'm Kelly Spolsky with Thunder Bay Live, and I'd like to welcome Doug Mckay to our studios. And I just want to ask Doug a few questions. What's happening, Doug? What's going on in your life?
Okay, well, the reason I'm here today is I'm running for mayor of Thunder Bay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. This is my second time. I ran in 2006.
Right.
I didn't do so well, but I ended up getting evicted during the election.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, well, in my view, there was a conspiracy to stop me from running.
Right.
Because after the eviction, I got a call from City Hall saying that they were aware of the eviction. And it was just between me, the police, and the landlord. And it turns out that they should have known about the eviction.
Okay.
It's a long story, but anyways, and I ended up getting in trouble over that.
Mm-hmm.
But then everything was dropped.
That's good.
Yes, that was
That's
good.
a good thing.
So, but I didn't do as well as I had hoped because I had to grab a motel room because you can't run for mayor if you don't have a residence in town. So I ended up, excuse me, renting a motel room and continuing on with that.
That's tough.
Yes, it was tough. So I'm just having another crack at it. I love the city.
I do too.
And I moved up here in the 70s from Toronto.
Okay, quieter.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
much quieter. And it was on the news recently. Thunder Bay has the nicest air of any city in Canada.
Oh, it is beautiful.
It
You're
is.
coming down right over the lake.
So that's a reason in itself to be here. But I just love the people here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just I find it's a real nice homogenized mix of just different ethnic communities and a good blend and all that in the people, which might have something to do with the cold, but are very friendly.
Yeah, it's sunny out. We need to get out now.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I've always been interested in politics.
Mm-hmm.
This is my third election. I ran for the marijuana party in 2004, and then for mayor in 2006. And
what prompted you to come out and want to run this year?
well, part of it's about free speech, because I've been an advocate for legalization of cannabis.
Right.
And there has been certain people in this town that have done everything in their power to subvert that.
Well, that's what we're taught from a young age, that
Yes.
it's bad.
And I'm a huge fan, admirer of the men and women during the world wars that sacrificed so much for me to be able to have free speech.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about any kind of a hate thing, or it's just, changing the laws concerning drugs. But the people that would stand to lose the most if drugs were legalized would be the police and the justice system. So they have made my life quite literally a living hell at times. And so this is my attempt at free speech. And I have a couple of things I can offer Thunder Bay, which I want to use, and I've been talking about this since 2002, but using Thunder Bay as a test site for the legalization of cannabis. And there's been a worldwide change since then.
In Colorado, for instance?
It's legal there. Now, people say, well, it's a federal law in Canada, so it has to go federally, but it's a federal law in the states too. But they're letting the states underneath the radar do it, so they get 2 states now that's legal. 8 more have applied, and there's like 20 states where it's semi-legal. And you think about a country like Portugal, they've legalized all drugs.
Yes.
For simple possession. And crime has gone down and consumption has gone way down.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, like alcohol, we treat, if someone overdoes it, we treat it as a social disease. And there's all kinds of help with, Analon, whatever it is, or, what's that other one?
I'm not sure.
Anyways, so it's, treat it as a disease, because if you jail somebody for possession of drugs or for selling them,
right,
then they're going to go in there. There's no rehabilitation anymore. They're going to come out and they're going to reoffend.
So, say somebody offends, they go to jail, they do their time. There's no help for them to overcome whatever barriers led them to have to sell.
There's the occasional course in there.
Okay.
But if you've ever been locked in a cage for years at a time,
Can't say I have.
No, but you're not the same when you get out.
Right.
You're bitter, and you really haven't got to the core problem, because it's just window dressing what goes on in there. And the Harper government has absolutely gutted the whole, the whole rehabilitation thing. It's like, you've done the crime, you're evil, you're doing the time.
Oh.
So part of the benefit of using this area, because I consider Thunder Bay an island.
Okay.
We are so removed from southern Ontario. We're not the prairies. where, you know, just this little cool ball out in the middle of nowhere. And I seriously think that Justin Trudeau was going to win the federal election, and he is on board about legalizing.
Yes, he is.
And I've already approached the Liberal Party. I haven't actually heard from him yet about using this as a test case, or, you know, test area for legalization. And if it goes through, then the tourists will flock here by the thousands.
Yes, I
Yes.
totally agree with you. Oh, for sure.
Well, they've done so in Holland.
Is anywhere in Canada legalized?
No, it's
Nowhere.
federal, so like I said,
It's legalized federally.
no,
or
it
no.
has to be legalized federally.
Oh, I thought, okay.
But there's medical marijuana,
Yes.
and you can have to go through your doctor, and you can. But now the federal government actually wants to put it in the hands of big business. Until recently, if you had your license to use cannabis for whatever disease or ailment you had, you could grow your own, and it's quite cheap. But now you have to actually buy it for. I have a friend that has ALS, which is a horrible disease, and they gave him a choice of two drugs, either cannabis or this god-awful chemical drug. He tried the chemical one and almost killed him.
It messes up your liver, everything, if you use chemical drugs.
Yes, right.
Your filtration
So
system.
yes. So they gave him the two options, and now he just he bakes a bit of pot. He buys it legally from a company, but he just bakes it into muffins, and then he has a little bit every day.
Awesome.
And it's the only thing that actually helps him, right? So it's legally. You can get it legally, but no, it's actually, marijuana is classified as worse than crack cocaine in this country, if you can believe that. And it's the God's truth,
It's
because
hard
I've been
to
through
believe,
the course.
but
Yeah. Well, I just did 27 months
wow.
for growing.
Holy smokes.
Yes. And the judge actually, I had friends that used to smoke with her.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but it's true.
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay, well, I've had a number of friends that would smoke with her, right? Her and her husband. I'm not going to mention her name, but you know who you are. So it's pretty hypocritical to be sentenced me. But part of the sentencing, even because I did a documentary about growing marijuana, and that aired in 2002. And when the judge sentenced me, she was tearing a strip off me for doing that video. And that was 10 years after I did it.
Why was she tearing? Just because?
Well, she said I wasn't going about trying to get it legalized properly.
Oh.
But that shouldn't even been in the court.
Sometimes it needs a nudge.
Well,
That was
I
a nudge.
nudged, yes, and I did get charged with doing the show too, right? But they dropped the charges it's a long story.
Mm-hmm.
And I was charged for possession of marijuana in 2006 when I was running for mayor, and then I was on the front page again. But there was a cover up there because I'm sitting in the jail cell, and I actually got very claustrophobic that night, and I was bashing my head up against the wall.
Oh wow.
It was horrible, and I'm sitting there going, well, this is going to be a big news. I'm running for mayor, talking about legalizing pot.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be big news. Well, not a word, right? So a month later, I phoned the Chronicle Journal, and the next day it was front page news. And it was because they were trying to hide the fact that they were trying to stop me from running. Otherwise, because it was news, obviously, because like I said, one phone call from me, and the next day it was,
All over the
mayor
front
hopeful,
page.
yeah. So
what's happening now with this run that you're doing? Are things going okay? You obviously haven't been evicted.
no, but I'm not growing pot anymore either. So
Well,
that's how they got at me all the time.
Right.
I barely even smoke anymore. Just
Okay.
maybe once every 2-3 days or something. I've been dealing with chronic pain for 20 years with my
Right.
back, and now I'm presently dealing with a hernia.
Okay, that's not good.
That's not much fun either. So I'm using the social media.
Right.
I have a Facebook page, and anybody can join.
Okay.
And welcome to have you aboard.
Thank you. Great to have you here. This is awesome. So this time running, do you have a platform that you're going to go by? Obviously you do, generally, just from talking to you, but are there going to be any debates? Like, take me through what happens to be elected.
Well, generally there's at least one debate.
Okay.
When I ran in 2006, Lynn Peterson actually bailed out on it. It was at the
really?
university, yeah. And there were a lot of very disappointed students because she'd actually picked the time and everything.
Oh.
And we were sitting there at the university waiting for her, and she was a total no-show. So she never did give a reason, just said she just took off to Toronto. I'm not too sure why she bailed out. So yeah, that was the only debate that was actually in 2006. So I'm sure there'll probably be another one.
So,
And usually the newspaper,
right.
will interview you, and I've had that before where and CBC has actually been ignoring me too.
Oh.
Which is kind of sad because they're on the public dime. They won't even mention the fact that I'm running. But the news director there, Gary Rennie doesn't like me. He's
I see.
proven that in the past. I have a lot of history in town here because I have a way of getting on people's wrong side. But a lot of this mayor thing with me is free speech, because over the last 14 years, there's been many attempts to shut me up.
Right.
And I've mentioned about my admiration for the sacrifices that our soldiers and citizens have made to protect my right. And there's people in this town that think they can shut me up. And I'm very stubborn.
We're very lucky where we live in Canada.
We are.
To be able to speak our minds and talk about things and strongly believe what we believe in and not be shot for it or beat up or stoned, basically.
Well, I've been stoned, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, figuratively speaking.
Right.
Right? And
Yes.
I mean, Canada's a wonderful country, but it doesn't mean we can just sit on our laurels and let what's going on about controlling, like the Harper government controlling the media, controlling the message, controlling everything, right? So you do have to stand up every once in a while and say, well, because they will try to take advantage of you.
Yes.
There's this evil people in the world.
Well, via social media, we have a choice what to click on.
Exactly.
We can either, we have the right to choose what we believe in, and we have the right to choose what we put on our computer screen.
Exactly.
It's not like television where you click and that's the show that you have to watch right now because it's on at this time. Well, I can go to one of the sites and
or watch
it
this
whenever, at midnight or
Yes.
2 in the morning or whenever I can't sleep or do something like that.
Well, that's the beauty of the internet, though, is they can't just control the message like they used to.
Exactly.
Unless you're in China, where they actually, can restrict what you can Google.
I read that.
Oh yeah.
That they,
Tenement Square doesn't come up.
No.
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 No, they actually control information, but we don't hear to that extent. But
It does sneak out.
Yes.
It
oh
does,
yeah.
but it's very, very well.
And if you get caught sneaking it out,
it's
you're in
bad.
big trouble.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So-
very, very.
So we're
much
not China, but we're not perfect either. And like I say, I just don't think we should kick back and let them have their way.
Exactly.
And when I say they, it's just the people that feel that only a certain message should be heard. And mine is a little bit radical, but considering ex-presidents of the United States saying that that the war on drugs has failed completely and miserably.
Which president said that?
That was Clinton and Carter.
I remember him announcing that war.
Yeah, well, they
That
both
was
had
quite
the
some
war,
time
but then
ago.
they were on TV last night. I watched the show, and they were both saying that the war was an absolute failure. Like the United States has 5% of the world's population, and they have 30% of the people in jail.
Right.
Like it's huge, and most of them are drug offenses.
Yeah.
And it's not a crime. It's actually you have the people do drugs because they have problems.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, you do drugs to deaden something,
Yes.
whether it's physical pain or it's psychological pain or
Mhm.
something. And so here you are, the path you've been on, you've had problems, so you're doing this, and the double whammy is all of a sudden then you're treated as a criminal, thrown in jail with really no chance of rehabilitation, and that just exacerbates the problem.
It does.
Mhm.
And to not be a solution to the problem and sit down and just not say anything, that's what a lot of us are taught to do in society. And
Mhm.
and I commend you for standing up for what you believe in. That's awesome. Like more people need to be like that. More people need to speak up and not pick somebody out of the crowd and say, I'm going to pick on you today. And
Thank
we
you.
need to be fair to people. And is there anything else you need to add today, Doug, before we
No,
wrap
just
this up?
that saying about a society will be judged on how it lends a helping hand to the less fortunate,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I feel.
That's the way it should be.
And just one thing more about my mayor campaign is I also focus on children a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, like when I was running in 2006, I was talking about bringing yoga into schools.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and now it's becoming popular.
Mhm.
But I just think there's too much, ADHD, obesity,
Yes.
and kids are designed for activity, not sitting there. And this is where a lot of this ADHD and kids, in the States, there's 6 million kids on Ritalin.
It's a vicious cycle.
It's vicious.
All of it's
Yeah.
vicious.
And I've actually seen people shooting up Ritalin.
Oh, my.
Junkies, yes.
Okay,
And they're giving it
that's-
to 6-year-olds. I mean, it's ugly.
What do you mean, like by?
Yeah, intravenous,
oh.
yeah.
Oh.
It's a powerful drug.
Okay.
Powerful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just I'm not just one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I love this area, and if it was used as a test site here, the tourists would flock
Right.
here. And this is an area where you want to come, because I have a friend that has a resort over by Advocacy, And he's dreaming of the day. He has like 6 fly-in camps,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a resort on the lake. And he is dreaming of the day that it gets legalized here because he knows Americans are going to flock here in the thousands.
That's
And
hilarious.
he's a businessman.
Yep, that's usually how it goes.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to thank you for being here on Thunder Bay Live.
And thanks for having me,
I'm
Kelly.
here with Doug Mckay, and I'm Kelly Spolsky, and thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.